One of the most difficult things about BNI is bringing visitors. Many members struggle with getting visitors in the room, and it's probably the question I get asked the most about BNI. How do I get visitors to come along? How do I invite them? How do I make sure that they turn up? Because I've been in BNI for 5 years now, and I've been a 100-point member, and I think the most visitors I've ever had over a 6-month period was 17. Now, there's members that will have had a lot more than me, obviously, but I'm quite happy with that number. And I'm going to give you a tip right now that I think will completely transform the way you invite visitors to BNI. Because let's say, for example, you're talking to somebody and you think, I want to invite this person to BNI. I want to invite them to come along, but I'm worried they're not going to want to, and they're going to say no. And I'm embarrassed to ask because it feels like I'm sort of begging them to come along, and I really want them there, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right with how I like to do business. If you do that, it's not going to work. That person is going to sense that you're desperate for them to come along, and they're not going to want to do it. So for example, let's say you're talking to an electrician. You've got an electrician in front of you right now. Maybe they're doing work for you, maybe you've met them at another networking group, whatever. And you don't have an electrician in your BNI chapter. And you think, I'd really like this electrician to come along. So you say something like, oh, hey, I'm going along to my weekly networking group actually tomorrow morning, where 25, 30 businesses all meet, and we don't have anyone that does what you do. Would you like to come along and meet them all? It's like $10 or $15, whatever it is to visit, and you can come along to the meeting in the morning, you can have breakfast, you can meet all the people, and you can tell them all what you do and what you're looking for in your business. Chances are they're going to say, no thanks, because they'll have been to something like that before. They don't see the immediate value in going, and quite frankly, it's early morning, they don't want to do that, they've got other things they'd rather do. Now, this is the trick I use, and I don't like using the word trick, I like to use the word technique or tactic. So I don't say trick. This is the technique that I use that gets much better results. This is why I've had so many visitors. What I'll do is I will use another member in the chapter as a hook. Another member as a hook to get them in. So say, for example, you've got a letting agent or an estate agent or a real estate agent in your chapter. They are brilliant as a hook. So you can say to this electrician, oh, hey, just wondering actually, where does most of your work come from? What sort of people give you business? Chances are they're going to say lettings and estate agents, do a lot of work for landlords. I said, well, that's funny. One of my best mates is a letting agent, actually. And I'm meeting him tomorrow. Meeting him tomorrow at a breakfast meeting. Tell you what, why don't you come with me and I'll personally introduce you to him so you can tell him what you do, what services you offer, and see whether he's able to use you in his letting agent business as well. How does that sound? And that is much more likely to get results. Because rather than inviting somebody to a networking meeting or a referral business meeting or whatever you want to call it, you're offering to introduce somebody to a business owner that is very likely to be able to give them work. Now, it doesn't have to be a lettings or estate agent. This works with accountants, for example. It works with solicitors. It works with business coaches. It works with my industry, digital marketing. That's perfect for photographers or for graphic designers or for printers. Hey, you're a photographer. What sort of work do you do? Do you commercial photography for businesses that have websites? Oh, I do that all the time. Yeah, that's really good work for me. I love getting commercial photography. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to a business meeting tomorrow where I'm meeting a really good friend of mine who runs a digital marketing agency. They do e-commerce websites for clients all the time. They're always needing people to do product photography for all the e-commerce websites. If you want to come with me, I'll personally introduce you to them so you can show them your work and they might be able to use you for their e-commerce websites. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's not rocket science. It's offering somebody something they want, something that's going to benefit their business for free. And that is how you get visitors to BNI. Thank you for listening.